Executive English for CISOs. Audit-Ready Control Status Answers. Welcome! In this micro lesson, you'll learn to answer audit questions with executive clarity, short, direct, and defensible. We'll show how to explain control status without drowning auditors in jargon, while still sounding authoritative. You'll practice showing ownership, presenting evidence, and stating next steps so your answers feel complete and action-oriented. By the end, you'll have a repeatable structure that turns audits from stressful interrogations into clear, business-friendly conversations. Let's make your responses crisp, credible, and ready for the boardroom. Start with shared language. A control is a specific safeguard with a defined owner, scope, and expected outcome. For example, MFA on all admin accounts owned by IAM. A deficiency means the control is not designed well or not operating consistently. Either way, risk isn't managed. A compensating control is an alternate safeguard that meaningfully reduces risk when the primary control is missing or weak, like temporary manual reviews while automation is built. Remediation means you fix the issue. Mitigation means you reduce impact if it occurs. Use these terms precisely to avoid debate and speed agreement. Use a predictable flow that answers what matters. Start with context, right pointing arrow, control, right pointing arrow, gap, right pointing arrow, risk, so the auditor knows what should happen, what actually happens, and why it matters. Then provide evidence, right pointing arrow, root cause, right pointing arrow, action plan to prove the finding, explain why it happened and how you'll fix it. Close with timeline, right pointing arrow, owner, right pointing arrow, status indicator, so there's accountability and a realistic path to closure. This structure keeps you concise, preserves nuance, and signals maturity. If you stick to it, most follow-up questions disappear. Context. The control should enforce MFA for all privileged cloud accounts to prevent unauthorized access. Finding. The design is incomplete. Contract or break glass accounts are excluded, and no periodic design review exists. Risk. Privileged access could be used to alter production data or disrupt services, impacting availability and customer trust. Action. Redesign scope to include all privileged identities, document exceptions with approval, align to CIS and NIST standards, and implement a quarterly design review. Target review date, March 15th. Success measured by 100% coverage and approved exception register. Context. The control exists, MFA is required for all admins, but execution is inconsistent. Evidence. Sample 200 admin logins from July to September. 7% lacked MFA due to legacy app tokens. Error pattern concentrated on 2 teams and weekend maintenance windows. Cause. Process gaps in joiner/mover workflows, tooling limits for service accounts, and understaffed off-hours support. Action. Provide targeted training for affected teams, enable automation to block non-MFA tokens, and set a weekly monitoring cadence with alerts. Success metric. Less than 1% exception rate for 3 consecutive months. Use simple, auditable labels. Not started, /in progress, /implemented, sustained. Add numbers, not adjectives. Design updated. Rollout 60% complete. Milestones A and B hit. Final validation due November 30th. State confidence, low/medium/high, with a short reason. Medium confidence due to vendor dependency. If risk remains, describe interim treatment. Compensating control. Daily manual review of admin changes with approval by security operations. Clear status plus quantified progress builds trust and reduces pushback. Lead with what proves the point. Documents, policy name, version, and relevant SOP pages include architecture diagrams, data, system logs, access tickets, vulnerability scans, and metrics with dates and samples. Show independence, cross-team checks, or third-party attestations to avoid self-confirmation. Ensure traceability by linking the control ID, risk ID, and ticket numbers so an auditor can follow the chain. High-quality evidence is specific, dated, and reproducible. If someone else can't rerun it, it won't stand in an audit. Speak like an owner. Say, we identified a gap and are addressing it, not, the tool failed. Avoid vagueness and fluff like industry best practice. Be concrete. Scope, dates, and metrics. Tie every statement to risk and business impact, availability, integrity, confidentiality, cost, and customer trust, not just technical detail. Close every answer with a clear next step and a review date so momentum is visible. The goal is credibility, concise facts, measurable actions, and transparent risk treatment.